Hi everyone, my name is Moisés Rockembach. I'm a researcher and professor at Federal University of Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil. Well, this presentation addressed the importance of the preservation of the web as a source of information and digital memory for society, and a case study applied to the 2018 Brazilian presidential election. Research developed within the research group of web archiving and digital preservation in Brazil. The research group of web archiving and digital preservation was created to investigate the characteristics of web archiving through national and international initiatives dealing with both the policies and the technologies involved in the process. So, we started studying web archiving as a research group in 2017, and since then we talked about how to begin web archiving projects and studies with these digital collections. We produced several research during this time, from preservation of institutional domains, content of social media, and mapping of audiences. Here are some of our publications. We think that we need to promote discussion locally without forgetting what happened in this field of study in the world. We need, at the same time as creating the web archives, to promote the several uses, scientific and non-scientific, on this information. Brugger and Feynman approached the web as the archives of contemporary life and addressed the relationship between this preserved web and the humanities. The authors bring some important definitions for this study, which we summarize in 3 points. First, the web archive as a real-time archive, as it needs an urgent attitude towards what it wants to preserve while it is still online. Second, the web archive is not a copy of everything that was online, but a new reborn and unique version, which means defining what to archive, what to omit, how to handle site updates, program, and archiving strategies and availability. Lastly, the web archiving becomes multi-temporal and multi-spatial. First, because it has several versions of the sites and can be browsed by the content capture dates. Multi-spatial because, depending on the capture periods, there may be more or less archived parts, making the extension different over time. The use of web archives have been also identified as a relevant source of research in the humanities, and especially in history, also allowing political scientists to examine ecosystems of political interactions, speeches, as well as patterns of large-scale political actions. So, in a raised perspective of information production on the web and analyzing the necessary technological, financial, and human resources, is verified the importance of establishing web archiving policies, delimiting the contents, domain, and subdomains to be preserved, based on the evaluation, selection, and curation of the contents in the formation of a digital web memory. In Brazil, the National Education and Research Network, founded in 1989, was responsible for implementing the Internet in Brazil, connecting the Brazilian academic community. The beginning of the popularization of the Internet and use in the commercial environment begins only after publication of the Ordinance Number 13, which regulates the use of the public telecommunication network for Internet connection service and also for the creation of the International Management Committee in Brazil, which aims at the development of the Internet in Brazil, the recommendation of procedures and standards, and also the dissemination of data about the Brazilian Internet. Brazil has more 4 million unique records in the .br. These domains are not under a preservation program with a broad scope, but we have been working in the past few years on the certain areas which serve as the beginning of Brazilian web archives. We started with analyzing the possibilities of web archiving using our resources and observe the international context. We need for national initiatives range for controlling the web archiving process to digital curation with a focus on national content and also working together with the technological and scientific local community. This prerogative brings a more comprehensive control over the stored data and also enables the contribution with the international community in the contents and processes of digital preservation. In addition, it expands the coverage of data capture since the web archiving work can be done collaboratively between countries and organizations. The research approaches the process of curation and selection content about the 2018 Brazilian election, as well as its technological aspects relating to web archiving. As a research question, we answer how to preserve the official web content produced by candidates for the Brazilian presidency in 2018, making possible research to users and scholars over time. As discussed in several studies already carried out on election web archives, these events have national relevance, require the preservation of this type of public information for the exercise of citizenship and as a member of a nation. Even so, web archiving coverage happens in an inequality way, and collaborative efforts are needed to extend this coverage. Methodologically, the research was categorized as mixed methods and was developed in 4 phases: literature review, infrastructure configuration, and software tests, data collection, and analysis of the collected data. As we can see, only 3 campaigns had secondary sites publicizing campaigns information, and 2 campaigns did not have any specific websites, only the political party websites. Our seeds are the domains selected to be collected, preserved, and archived. The number of seeds are according to the scope of the research. In this case, the number of candidates for the presidency of the Republic approved by the Superior Electoral Court. Once the candidates were defined, we select the official campaign's website as well as the website of the political parties. The curatorship results in the study of the 13 presidential candidates approved by the Brazilian Electoral Court as a list of 27 seats composed of 13 political party websites, 11 presidential candidates' websites, and 3 candidates' special websites with distinct campaigns content related to specific details of campaign proposals. The quality control of the collection is an important step in the process, aiming at the effectiveness of the web archiving and recovery of the preserved contents. In this quality control, the aim is to preserve the sites in the same way as they appear in their online or live version, both in relation to the information contained and the appearance of the site. However, several aspects can prejudice the collection, such as the diversity of language, format, and technology used, as well as the level of access to online data. We verified the archived site and we found that there were problems with data crawler around 15% of the capture pages. Some elements, such as media streaming, dynamic scripts, content based on databases, and the structure of social networks can make capture difficult. Some authors cite the lack of adoption of archivability criteria as a problem in digital preservation. Therefore, it recommends that the guarantee of quality has more focus on the content than on the graphic visual, checking first if the content has been collected entirely, then if the intellectual content can be reproduced in the access tool, thirdly, if the behavior of the website and navigation capacity has also been preserved, and finally, if the site has kept its original appearance. Several problems have been found in retrieving this content online today. Many of them are no longer online, how I will report. Compare the availability of online sites 18 months after the elections, from October 2018 to April 2020, 85% of the websites are not the same, either with modified or deleted content without online access to the web page. This corroborates studies by Nutolos show in autumn of 18% of content lost after 1 year of publication. From the total of 27 entry points, we divided them into 3 categories. Of the 11 main campaign sites, 5 websites have been offline, no longer accessible. One of these 5 sites now redirects to the party website. When the URL is redirected, we have a loss of content related to original URL. 2 sites had modifications and only 4 sites had no modifications. All 3 secondary campaign sites are still online, but their content has changed over the period. As for the political party websites, 2 no longer have online access, and the other 11 party websites have had modifications and no longer contain the original content from 2018. In order to be able to retrieve these contents over time, the establishment of research communities and web archive practices is something that's needed to be stimulated, so that we have a promotion of the preservation of national and local web content. Now we have a website, arquivo.ong.pr, which is a way to make web archives available to and engage users. This project justifies the importance of the web archives in Brazil, which needs to be further studied. In addition, the justification is based on the research focuses on the digital memory of what has been produced and disseminated on the Brazilian web and the perspectives of future access to this information. Our conclusions and future works. It concludes that the research results have the potential to be used in Brazilian web archiving projects and as a source of scientific research related to the 2018 elections. In addition, the research provides a better understanding of the phenomenon of the web information as a digital memory, as may be used by scholars and humanities and by citizens interested in these topics. As future work, the research group continues with studies on web archiving in Brazil on several topics. In 2022, Brazilian presidential elections will take place, and we intend to continue preserving the contents of the web, enabling historical and longitudinal studies for scholars and general users. There's some reference. Thank you.